Truly comes down to knowing the season of business that you are in and knowing how to capitalize on it strategically so that you don't have to be out here forcing momentum and losing all your time and energy, and make more aligned move depending on which season of business you are in without ever having to force anything. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Malika, and I am so happy to have you here. Happy Tuesday as always. Today we're really going to dive into, how to figure out which business season you are in order to capitalize the most on it in a way that's super strategic, in a way that will benefit you the most and your business the most. This is something so vital to know, be in the knowing that you are doing exactly what your business needs you to be doing in that moment in time. No one is making this, so let me make it. So go grab your matcha, go grab your drink, your coffee, whatever, go on your hot girl walk. I know it's snowing now here, but regardless, whatever, you can still go on your hot girl walk. Everyone's business has seasons, and these seasons kind of set the tone for how we are meant to lead, and the way that we go about our energy is meant to shift in order to match every single one of those seasons, depending on which season you're kind of turning into or which season your business is going into. And one of the most common business season has to be the expansion season. Okay, so this is the season that everyone gets right. This is, well, actually, no, that's not right. That's not right. This is the season that people focus on the most. The expansion season is exactly what it sounds like. You are expanding. You are pushing yourself out of your comfort zone way more. You're taking more risks. Your visibility is going up a notch. This is the thing that most people get wrong within this season, okay? Is that the season of expansion, is a season where you get to scale, where you get to put more of your energy in. It's the season that you're pushing harder, you are dedicating way more time. Maybe you're resting a little less, but the thing that most people get wrong within this season is that they stay in the expansion season for way too long. And then what happens? They crash the fuck out, right? And so this is exactly why ignoring your business season will always stall your results. In order to be able to capitalize on every single one of your business seasons, you need to go through all of the seasons, not just one. And so when you focus on just a single one of the season, and obviously this doesn't have to necessarily be the expansion season, I'm just using that one as an example because this is the one that makes people go insane and be like, why am I not getting more when I'm doing so much, right? And this is usually why. It's because the expansion season is meant to be a season, not a lifestyle. If your main focus for the whole year is one season, you will never be able to benefit as much as you could, right? Or even be able to go faster in a way that most women never will get to. Exactly because of this, because it is meant to be a season thing. I really believe that social media plays a big part in this cultural phenomenon, right? You kind of start creating this burnout or misalignment, and you're not able to benefit the most based on what you need, because maybe you are in a scaling season, but someone else is in a cocoon season. And then they see you in expansion season. They're like, oh my God, I should do like you. Which season is someone in, right? What are they doing right now with their business? Okay, I should be doing that. But they're not meant to be in the scaling season right now. They're meant to be in a cocoon season. So and I'm gonna go over all of the season, don't worry. I grew up, only seeing my brother as an example of someone with a business. And it was always to be on, always, be on, always push super hard and everything. And like, it doesn't matter the energy levels that you're at, like just push and push through, right? And that is usually when the crash out comes. That is usually when the energy dips. That is usually, when you're just forced to slow down. You'll be missing out on that spark or on that thing that will actually get you to accelerate your result, rather than forcing it because you have no other choice than to force it. We're never seeing how other people are taking the time to reset or recharge themselves, or their habit, or their energy spike, or like the way their energy drops. Like, we don't get to see all of those things. We only get to see what meets the eye, right? This is linked to a cultural phenomenon of almost like being proud to burn out. It's like, oh, look, I'm burning out, so that must mean that I'm more dedicated than everybody else, right? And for me, I know that like in the previous year, I had fallen into that trap where it was like, if I'm not super exhausted by the end of my day, then I haven't done enough. My mind could not even go to sleep or like be tired if I wasn't exhausted, because my mind and my habit like didn't develop to like get naturally tired and just not be completely exhausted in order to go to sleep. And so I think it's like this, this cultural phenomenon of like, okay, like, if I'm not super exhausted and my brain is destroyed, then it must mean that I'm not pushing hard enough, which this only creates more pushing and more burnout. And at the end of the day, it's like you can never capitalize 100% on your capacity if you are operating at 6%. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, it's like it can feel like, let's say, for example, you are giving 110% one day, okay? Then the next day, you're giving another 110%, but the 110% is only 6% of your full capacity, because you are such out of alignment and you are not listening to the season that you're supposed to be in. And so you're really not capitalizing on your fullest potential or even capacity. Okay. And this is usually what we see most of the time, And if I'm being honest, it is not cute to be worshiping struggle and exhaustion. Okay, not cute. Out of the door. Bye. It honestly gets a lot easier when you are not overriding it all the time with, oh, I just need to push all of the time, which is like, okay, yes, there are seasons to push, but we cannot push all of the time, because again, we are lowering the capacity every single time if you are never exiting the season. Okay, so this is just a little overview of like, how exactly you do get to capitalize the most on season. And that is exactly by being able to get out of the season and switch season and not solely be in a single one. And honestly, most of the time, this comes from habit. It's just like a habit, and it is to be a lot more conscious and a lot more intentional with what you are setting in place and the intention that you are putting in place for your business, rather than just riding along the wave and just pushing it all the time. The second season is what I call the Cocoon season. I just think it's a cute name. But, the Cocoon season is essentially when you are slowing down strategically so that you can actually multiply your revenue, your authority, and your capacity. That it's, within your energy, within how much you can hold, being able to bring back more of your energy towards you and focusing a lot less on putting your energy outward. Like when you are scaling, when you are expanding, it takes a lot more energy from you. Okay, so the Cocoon season is way more emphasized on what you actually need. You have more downtime, but also you are being way more strategic into, okay, like is what I'm doing making sense? You already have clients and you're kind of like just sustaining the flow, right? You're just like sustaining the flow. You're like strategically slowing down. You're like having more downtime for yourself. You are just pouring more into yourself, but also you are pouring into your clients, but you are not like in a season where it's like putting your energy that requires you so much to put so much of your energy outward. Cocoon season is super important, especially when you want to, let's say, rework your offers or work on some new project or whatever. It's kind of like the cocoon season is kind of like more your creative phase, or like you are more creative, you're more in the flow. You're truly like in alignment with what your body and your mind and your energy is asking of you, and you get to like really fuel back up. And this is exactly why timing will always beat effort, okay? Because you can put the most amount of effort into your expansion season, but if there's no cocoon season, like it's not really, you're just gonna be pushing and giving your what feels like your full capacity, but really your battery's at like 6%. But the thing is that most people go into the cocoon season when they're burned the fuck out. Now, this is not what I call a cocoon season. That is burning out. That is not the same thing, right? And this is something that was really, really especially hard for me because, like I said, like I grew up with my brother, seeing my brother always, he was the kind of person, you know, that was always like push no matter what, seeing how much, you know, the body is not meant to hold that much stress for that like long amount of time. Like that is just not like good for your health, and it's not good for your mental health either. And so, you know, there are consequences to that. And the cocoon season, it's not like, okay, I'm feeling so burned out and now I'm gonna slow down. Like, okay, now you've already passed the cocoon season. Like, like, you know, it is long gone. Like, that is not how it is supposed to be. It is not supposed to be, oh my God, I'm so fucking exhausted, I'm gonna go into the cocoon season. No, that is a crash out season. That is not the same. Okay, because honestly, this is the season where you get to make the most amount of aligned decision that will truly change the whole trajectory of accelerating your result for your business and for yourself. You get more in tune with yourself, and you're so aligned, and you're way more creative, and it feels more fun, it feels more light. I don't know how else to explain it. And so when you skip this season, or when you only enter this season if you are burned out, then unfortunately you will not really be making the moves that your business requires you to make, because you're either making them out of, you know, pushing, but it's not really, it needs to feel aligned, it needs to feel from your creative form, like as, you know, as a creator of whatever it is that you're creating, like that's what it needs to feel like. When I think of creating momentum without forcing anything, it comes from this kind of energy. It comes from the energy that feels so fun and creative and light and magical. Like you are just in your element. That's the energy it comes from, being in your element. And so if you are missing that window every single time, your momentum will stall, and it will feel stagnant, and it will feel like you are pushing too fucking hard and getting almost nothing. That is usually what happens for a lot of people. And I know that for a long time I was really trapped in that cycle, because as someone that's super driven, like you just want it now, you want to do everything, you're willing to do everything, but sometimes it's actually easier for us to keep pushing rather than to change season. And so I feel like that is actually the real challenge, because like I know everyone can do it, everyone can push through, do it, yes, everything, but I think like what is harder is to actually pace yourself and be super intentional with your season and actually dedicating yourself to the season that you are in. I think that is much harder to do. Something that I really want to mention is how you feel in every single season. I think that this is really interesting, because especially the growth season, which is, this one is the third one, The growth season is, I think, the one where everyone overthinks the most. You are learning, new things. You're amplifying your skills. Be better at like what you already do. You're doing kind of like a bird's eye view of your business, or you're doing refinement. And I think that like this is the place where you overthink a lot more, because of the fact that like when you are integrating new things, it expands your mind to like new possibilities, other things that like perhaps you didn't know you needed for your growth or to accelerate your results and everything. So I think it's like really normal to like be overthinking a lot more in that season, and I don't think it's actually a bad thing. Like, I actually see it as a good thing when you know that's the season that you're in and that you were meant to have more ideas or think a lot more on what you're doing and if it's working. And this is the reason why it is so freaking important to like be intentional within what you're doing or like where you're at, because then it can explain a lot more like the way that you feel or where your energy is at or where your head is at. And then it makes your life so much easier, because you're like, oh, I'm supposed to be overthinking right now. Like, this is a good thing. Like, I can use this to my advantage. Not to say that you're supposed to overthink all the time, but this is honestly the main season where I would say that like overthinking and thinking a lot and having a lot of ideas is like really at its peak. And the growth season just allows you to stretch your capacity as well. That it's your energetic capacity, or it's just like the things that you're holding within your business, or the things that you have to do, the decisions that you have to be making. Also like personal wise, for example, like, you're doing new habits, you're implementing new things, you're trying new things. For example, when I decided to start working out, 3 times a week with my Pilates and everything, this was something super new to me. And I wasn't used to like holding, my business with also managing, that kind of level of energy that it took from me as well. Right. And so I think like, the growth season is kind of like when you're making changes, or when you are really like implementing other things that like you've never thought of before, or that you're learning from someone else or whatnot. And this is the season that, again, like it really stretches your capacity, and it kind of almost like gets you ready for the expansion season, where you really get to go really hard and everything. It's kind of like preparing you. It's always been the season to have the most discernment and the most focus, because the more that you are, mastering more what you do or whatever, it takes more structure and it takes more refinement. It is just getting you ready for the next stage. I would say that outgrowing your business is kind of inevitable, that you stay in the same field or not. Okay, like for me, it was definitely like a whole 360. Like, obviously I started out with my makeup business and services, and then I completely switched into the personal branding aspect and the marketing aspects of things, because of how much I liked that side of my first business. This is honestly a crossroad that like so many multifaceted women have to face, especially when you are multifaceted and everything. I feel that like there's always this crossroad moment where you can either choose to stay in what you know is working and what you feel like your clients might want from you, versus completely stepping out of that and just choosing what you feel is the fire in your heart that's like calling out to you, the next stage that's calling out to you. Because I've seen this so many times again and again, when sometimes I'll have people say, oh, I've had this offer for so many years, but now I feel like I'm kind of bored with it. I want to do something different, but I feel like that's not really what my clients want and everything. And this is the rule of thumb that I always live by, okay? If your clients are so obsessed with what you are doing now or how you are doing things now, and it also feels not fully in alignment with you or true to what you want, then imagine how much better it will be for you and them when it's 100% aligned and you're fully in it. Like your full dedication is in it. At any stage that you're at, it is scary to just, step out of what you've always done to do something like different, because even though you've had this amount of success that you've built before, I know that for me, even though I was like, okay, this business is successful and everything, it still felt scary to do the shift to another business model because it was something that I have never done before. So it almost felt like starting from zero, even though I was not. But that was kind of like the impression that I was having while making this shift. And I think that like this is why like so many people kind of like stop at the crossroad and they're like, okay, do I do it or not? Imagine how much better it will be if your heart would be fully in it. Like, if right now it is super successful and it's working so well, like imagine how much better it will be when your full heart and your full chest and you're launching it with your full chest, or you're really like going at it with your full energy. Like imagine how much better it will be. This really ties into the reinvention season, right? The season where you are kind of like reinventing yourself, you are reinventing the rules, you are reinventing your business model, you are reinventing your offer, or you are changing things about your service, or even like, adding different boundaries within your clients, that's like, oh, I've never done that before. Like now I'm gonna do that. Like it can feel like scary, but this is, part of having your result accelerate, having bigger momentum, right? Because all of these things, like when okay, like I'm getting called to do this, I'm getting called this, but like you're stalling it, then you're stalling everything else that comes with that decision. Okay. And so when you start making really like high level decisions, it comes with high level rewards, right? And so when you are not sleeping on them, then you get to accelerate faster in a way that other women aren't. You get to be that person and you get to make that decision that feels super aligned with you, with your next chapter, even if it's something that you've never done before, even if something that your clients are not used to, even whatever. Like you adapt, everybody else adapts, okay? This period of time is honestly the period where people have the most doubt. And honestly, it's like so normal. It's like the season where you're kind of like changing your identity. You're kind of like changing your business model. You're doing things that you've never done before. But this is the thing why capitalizing on your season requires you to know which one you're in, because then when you feel the doubt, when you feel that like bit of resistance or like, I'm not sure, like you're like, oh, okay, like that's just how it's supposed to be right now. Like that is normal. And finally, obviously we have the expansion season, which is the one where people feel the most amazing. You're like fiery, your energy capacity is hitting way harder. You are putting all of your soul and energy, and you're putting more energy outward. This requires a lot more energy, but in order to do that and to do it well without burning out and without, only operating at this 6% capacity, it does require to go through the season. And I think like once you understand, how you're kind of supposed, like it's like how you're supposed to feel in each season, it makes it kind of easier. And all of these period of time truly compounds on themselves. And this is truly how you get to stack the results that actually matters when it comes to what your business actually requires from you in that moment in time. Because if you are doing expansion moves, but you are supposed to be in your cocoon season, then you're going to wonder, why does it not feel like as motivating? Why does it feel like it's stagnating, right? And it's like, you're supposed to be creative right now. You know what I mean? And so it's so important to honor these things. That requires much more dedication and being much more intentional. But that is essentially what allows you to make the kind of decisions that are very much strategic and very in alignment with what your business needs in that moment in time. And that will beat effort every single time, because you are not just pushing through, but you are strategically capitalizing on exactly what your business needs from you in that moment in time. And that will always multiply your momentum rather than be forcing for it or forcing for results. For this week, I really want you to analyze, which season of business you are in. This is going to look so different for every single person. It might be a growth phase where you're learning more, or it might be a cocoon phase, or it might be a scaling phase if you're launching something, or the reinvention period, right? And every single one of them has immense amount of payoff when you do them right and intentionally, and not just moving through the wave. And I think this is the main thing that makes the biggest difference, is not moving through the wave, but is actually setting an intention and being very intentional with it, almost like timing your season on purpose so that you can fuel yourself more and that you can truly capitalize the most on your capacity, on your energy, and you get to feel so amazing doing it. I hope you absolutely love this week's episode. If you did, make sure to take a screenshot, post it on your story, and tag me. I would love to hear your thoughts on what we talked about today. And if you know a friend that would absolutely love this kind of conversation, definitely send it to them. I will meet you here next week. Thanks so much for tuning in, and don't forget to leave your 5-star rate and review on the podcast. I love to know what you guys think of the episodes, and I will meet you here next week.